Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, so after getting my very first AI agency lead, I decided to try landing the second one in just 7 days. And man, the brutal reality of that was a massive wake-up call. You look around the internet and it's just flooded with all these wild claims of hitting 40 grand a month in 90 days. But what actually happens after you get that very first win? Well, today we are breaking down this exact experiment, drawing from real source data to see exactly what it really takes to scale beyond client number one. Let's dive in.
So you got your first lead. Now what? Look, landing that first client is a massive high, right? It validates your whole idea, your skills, the market, the whole shebang. But as our sources reveal, relying on those same scrappy manual methods to get your second lead, that's going to drop you straight into a valley of absolute frustration. The hustle that got you your first yes, relying on warm networks, tapping into friends, or sending out a few manual emails, it literally just breaks down and burns you out the second you try to scale it up.
So let's get into the post-first lead reality and what it means to survive the 30-day cliff.
There's this quote from an agency founder on Reddit that perfectly hits the nail on the head. They said, "Your lead flow is the bottleneck, not your pitch." Think about it. When you're just starting out, you might be manually writing and sending, like 450 cold emails a day? That simply doesn't scale. Not only do you physically burn out, but you quickly become a commodity. You end up being just another random person selling AI templates, racing to the bottom on price, all because you just aren't talking to enough qualified people.
And the numbers totally back this up. To put this in perspective, the average cold email reply rate has plummeted down to a dismal 3.4%. And honestly, for those generic, mass-blasted campaigns, it's usually hovering somewhere between just 1 and 5%. Buyers have developed serious pattern recognition for these templated emails, right? They see them and delete them in under 2 seconds. So, generic mass outreach, it's effectively dead. That means we need to talk about upgrading the outreach engine, moving from a scrappy approach to a systematized one.
The difference in approach here is absolutely staggering. An awful tech-heavy pitch filled with jargon, like talking about advanced NLP, gets exactly 0 replies. People do not care about the tech. But a signal-based, solution-oriented pitch where you reach out and say, "Hey, I saw a Google review that said you missed their call," and then offer to fix that specific issue, that actually opens doors. You aren't selling the tech, you're selling the solution to a very specific, observable problem they are having right now.
So based on a documented case study, here is the new, upgraded automated funnel experts are transitioning to. Step 1. You scrape specific ideal customer profiles based on real triggers using a tool like Apify. Step 2. You generate context-aware, completely unique messages using Claude. And Step 3. You deploy them across multiple channels using an automation platform like N8N. And actually, fun fact, in certain markets like India, reaching out on WhatsApp significantly outperforms your standard email approach.
Now, why go through all that trouble? Because using this automated omni-channel approach with 3 or more touchpoints boosts response rates by a staggering 287%. You aren't just sending one email and screaming into the void anymore. You're creating an intelligent multi-touch sequence that actually cuts through all the noise and gets the attention of incredibly busy business owners.
But of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Let's look at the unexpected walls and roadblocks, which is the real reality check of scaling.
During this 7-day challenge, a major trap emerged: the DIY client. You have to actively avoid these black holes for your time. They're the ones who ask for all the technical details, they want to tinker with the back end, and here's the kicker, they don't actually want a done-for-you service. They just want a free tutor. I'm telling you, they will absolutely sink a new agency before it even gets off the ground. And hey, if you think these struggles are just for beginners, check this out. 95% is the failure rate of AI pilot programs in big enterprise companies. It's this crazy phenomenon known as the 30-day cliff. Basically, an AI agent might work perfectly in a cute, controlled demo environment, but when it's released into the wild with messy, unpredictable, real-world customers, it just falls right off a cliff.
Okay, so let's get into the breakthrough and the actual results. The final 7-day tally of this experiment.
This timeline maps out the grueling 7-day pivot. Days 1 and 2, pure strategy. This was all about transitioning away from those broad "we sell AI" claims and moving toward hyper-targeted, niche-specific outreach. Days 3 and 4 focused on signal mapping, which basically just means identifying real-world triggers like a bad review or a new job posting that show a client is actually ready to buy. And then days 5 and 6 were spent building that automated outreach engine we just talked about.
And here is the raw, unfiltered truth of the experiment.
Are you ready for this? Despite sending 350 highly targeted messages and securing 8 positive replies that led to 2 booked demos, the 7-day sprint yielded 0 immediate clients. Exactly $0 generated on day 7. This completely shatters that whole get-rich-quick, 40K a month in 90 days fantasy you see plastered all over the internet.
However, and this is a big however, the experiment was actually a massive strategic win. The data clearly shows that shifting from generic copy-paste messaging to AI-augmented signal-based outreach drastically improved both the actual reply rate and the quality of the conversations. The foundation for real, sustainable scaling was successfully built, even if it didn't magically pay out on day 7. Which brings us to the lessons for scaling up. Let's look at the blueprint for the future. The secret sauce here is a hybrid model. You absolutely must automate the mechanics, things like list building, predicting optimal send times, and drafting those initial emails using AI. But, and this is critical, you must keep humans strictly in charge of the meaning. Humans are the ones who handle the unpredictable objections, read between the lines, build genuine trust, and actually close the deals. So, to reliably get that elusive second lead, you need to follow these exact steps. Niche down hard. For example, targeting HVAC plumbers specifically. Solve a bleeding neck problem, like the thousands of dollars they lose when they miss a customer call while they're literally stuck under a sink. Build a live, interactive phone demo they can dial into right this second to test. And most importantly, leverage your first win. Ask that first client for a referral and build a concrete case study around their success.
This insight from an experienced founder really reinforces everything we've unpacked today. Scaling isn't about doing more outreach to absolutely everyone with a pulse. No, it's about doing highly targeted, specific outreach to one ideal customer profile. Don't try to be an amateur in every single niche, be an absolute master of one.
All right, let's wrap this up with the honest final takeaway. It's a real business, not magic. Look, building an AI agency is a real business. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes, the tools make the execution faster, and yes, AI automations make your outreach incredibly efficient, but they do not replace fundamental business requirements. You still have to understand your customer deeply, you have to refine your offers, and you have to deal with rejection day in and day out. Hustle is still required. So, I'll leave you to ponder this final thought from our sources. Maybe the secret to scaling isn't expanding your services or trying to build some massive, sprawling agency. Actually, scratch that. Maybe the truly massive, sustainable opportunity is obsessively mastering just one single, painful problem. Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.